Now to other matters. It's no longer news that electricity supply is an issue not only in Nigeria but in various countries across the continent. This year's edition of the West Africa Power 2015 Summit, which came to an end today, brought together regional leaders, regulators, utilities and leading energy service companies to discuss strategies to attract and accelerate foreign investments in the power sector across West Africa. This year's summit's theme was focused on discovering where the best opportunities lie in the power industry and to facilitate new investment partnerships.
Nigeria holds the world's 7th largest natural gas reserves, but decades of corruption and mismanagement means it barely provides even a fraction of its population of over 160 million people with any electricity. Power blackouts and poor supply are rampant here, and a neighboring economic powerhouse and fellow oil and gas producer, Ghana, where power outages have become a symbol of the country's abrupt economic downturn. For 2 days, energy industry players, experts and government officials have been meeting in Lagos for the West Africa Power Summit to discuss the challenges and possible solutions to improving the electricity supply in the region and how to attract more investment. Many had hoped the West African Power Pool WAP, a corporation of national electricity companies from ECOWAS member states set up 15 years ago, will establish a more reliable grid by leveraging the region's joint resources. Barth, Nnaji, Nigeria's former power minister, says though the integration is coming along, pooling power is not yet feasible as members are not producing power at the same levels.
Power to pool. You cannot be talking about power pool without power. Countries are hungry for power now. The countries that can produce the power, like Nigeria, like Ghana, and all those other countries, they are not producing the power yet. So they need to produce the power to be able to pool the power, to be able to regulate the power, to be able to have power going to communities.
Experts agree that the lack of electricity is a tremendous hindrance to Africa's advancement. Roughly 2/3 of sub-Saharan Africa lacks power, a level that rises as high as 85% in rural areas.
A lot of the distribution companies have filed for force majeure. Okay, so that means that they see there's a problem. Why? Because of a regulatory uncertainty. They feel that what they saw from the Regulatory Commission at the beginning when they were bidding is not what they are getting now. So a regulator needs to just be stable and moving forward so that people have confidence in the regulator. It's part of the problem. Then some of the investors may have thought it was just a place to go and make money, but it's not. It's a lot of work. Distribution of electricity is the hardest work.
Experts say infrastructure will be key in cutting losses. Even though millions of Nigerians go for months on end without power, they are still billed monthly for usage of undelivered services by the Power Holding Company of Nigeria. Some people avoid paying for power by tampering with their meters, a behavior that has hurt many distributors. Anurag Damawat, manager at Indian power infrastructure company Genus, says good metering will cut down on fraud and increase efficiency.
So once the distribution company is able to reduce their losses, the major problem here, I just discussed with some of the NERC members that they are facing about 50% of ATC losses. So that the moment they are going to reduce it to say 20% or 15%, majority of the power crisis will go away.
If Nigeria gets the lights working, it will reduce business cost by up to 40%, add 3% to GDP, and spur a boom in labor-intensive areas like manufacturing, food processing, textiles and pharmaceuticals, while opening up the opportunity for new low-cost service industries like the call centers that aided India's rise. The $13 billion a year that Nigeria spends on diesel, most of which is imported, will become a thing of the past.
We're joined by the former Nigerian Minister of Power, Professor Barth Nnaji. Professor, thank you very much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Professor, we've heard a lot from what you said during the just concluded summit, but what factors do we expect to see in place, or what structures do we expect to see in place to ensure that what was discussed can be implemented?
Well, I think a lot of things are actually going on in West Africa that we don't really know about. So this summit was particularly useful for a lot of stakeholders in the power sector. For example, it was not known in our side that there is a major transmission line going from Cote d'Ivoire through Sierra Leone to Guinea to Senegal. Such power line actually just shows the sort of regional integration that's coming in the region. Already Nigeria has done well with the power line that goes to Niger Republic and to Benin and Togo. And so if the line that is being built through the effort of the World Bank, European Investment Bank, African Development Bank, can be connected to our own, then we would have had a proper regional integration in electricity as a first step. So even if we don't have very good roads across the region, we at least have a very good electricity system going on. And power plants can be built anywhere in the sub-region and sold. So this is a very good progress. There's also a regulator already in place. I think there's some high degree of progress made, but now it is about generating the electricity to support the infrastructure that is needed.
Well, Professor, thank you so much. But just because of time, I'd just like to ask you really quickly if we can actually say, based on what you just told us, when we can start to see the results, how soon we can start to see results?
Well, in the region, a lot is going on in West Africa. For example, some of the countries have begun to take their fate in their own hands. They have begun to build power projects. Some of them will come on stream next year. Some will be in 2 years from now. And even in our own country, a lot of the power projects through the private sector initiatives will begin to bear fruit between next year to 2019. So a lot of very good work going. But this must be encouraged, Just liberalization of the sector is tremendous.
Okay. Well, Professor Barth Nnaji, thank you very much for joining us on the program. We're thankful for your time and your inputs. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Former Minister of Power, Professor Barth Nnaji. Well, that's how we draw the curtains on this episode of Network Africa. Many thanks for watching. I'm Cynthia Are.